goes. So, once again, some of you guys have been following some of my videos. I know, not following, but some of you guys have watched some of my videos, and I'm really thankful and appreciative. It's kind of a pain in the butt to edit those things, but I'm really enjoying this. This again is the Rovan 305 FT 30.5 cc. You'll notice it might look a little different from the last time you've seen it, if you've seen it before. A couple of upgrades and a couple of things that had to be replaced because they broke. You might notice I have a big old SC body right there. That thing is absolutely massive. If you've never seen one in person, you will, yeah, you'll be surprised when you get it. It's really big, and in comparison to the 305 FT or even just a straight Baja 5B, that body is massive. But it fits on there. I'm going to show you how it fits before the end of the video, and you'll get an idea on why I'm so pumped up about it. I can't wait to paint it. I just picked myself up an airbrush and some liquid mask. I'm actually in the process of doing a 1/10 body for this Revo build here. It's my first time airbrushing RC, and I picked up a $50 kit that came with 2 brushes, a cord, you know, cheap kits made by a company called Point Zero, but decent gravity feed airbrush, dual action with all the adjustments that you need. And I already had a compressor, Harbor Freight, 100 psi with an adjustable air valve. I even picked up one of those, I can't think of the name of it, the little water cup there that holds the condensation. Haven't installed it yet, but I will. And this little airbrush holder. And it also came with another dual action that is bottom feed with a jar for 50 bucks on Amazon. Again, the name of the company is called Zero Point, or Point Zero. I think it's 0 Point. And it's a decent gun. I'm impressed with it, so. Enough of that. So again, the Revo build, and I'm in the process of doing the 1/10 body for that. It's going to be like a ripped American flag, real sick flames, that type of thing. And I bit off a lot more than I know I can chew. And then once I get familiar with that, here we go. You might notice right off the bat that I have put some center hub aluminum caps on there. I didn't like it at first. There was no aluminum on my truck, and I was kind of like, oh, it doesn't even look right. So what I did was I painted these with a Sharpie, a silver Sharpie real quick, painted the beadlock bolts. They should all be taken out and painted properly, but I'm not really worried about it right now. So long story short, we have the body, the Bond Dog panels, the chase cage, factory bumpers, SC short course style in the rear, and desert truck or 5T style bumper up front. I did replace the factory light bezels with the LED ones, and I'll show you how I ran the wiring in a minute. You might notice I have it on a stand. This is a Rigid, the company Rigid, sold at Home Depot. It's a rigid stand. It is not for RC, but advertised on a lot of the forums, the guys saying they liked it. So when I saw the price, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Totally adjustable, up and down. And obviously you'll see the legs fold out like that, so it's really easy to store. And it was 29 bucks at Home Depot. When you see the top, you'll see what I'm working with. But as far as stability is concerned, I made a small jig. The top is meant to do this, or hold flat, and it locks with a pin. So needless to say, it's flat, and the truck would simply fall off. So I made a little something to keep it on there. So let's pull this sucker around, and I'll show you what I've done to it in the past couple months. I apologize for the video. This is last minute. And you'll notice I have changed out that SS style pigtail pipe for the Dominator style pipe. I paid 29 bucks for the pipe, and fitment was absolutely phenomenal. It came with the heat sink, both bolts, which I had there already. But so now I have an extra set, but it came with the heatsink, gasket for the inner and outer, and fitment was perfect. The only issue you might have with this pipe, or you will have, is if you run the short course bumper, which mine again is the 305 FT. They're not making it anymore, so anybody interested in it, unfortunately, there are none left right now unless you order them from China. I've already talked to the guy that sells these here in the States, trying to find one for a friend. So you'll notice the pipe runs through there. Typically this bumper is shaped entirely different. It actually, I believe it goes like this. I had to buy a kit that RPM makes, which I bought from Dave's Discount Motors. Really, really nice kit. The plate down the bottom, it's a really thick RPM plastic, you know, and it basically just makes it so that the pipe will mount, which it does right there, and it gives it plenty of room. You'll notice no issues. I've had no melting issues, nothing. And as far as upgrades are concerned, this pipe has been amazing. This truck had never done wheelies before, didn't have the low end grunt that it had. I haven't changed the tune from the old pipe to the new pipe. It's been the same tune, and I've only ran it twice, but it was amazing. And I didn't want to really mess with the tune at that time. I figured, let me just run it for another half hour or so, and then I'll turn some screws. And I was like, So yeah, it's running real good. I don't know if I can get much more out of it. It's a lot faster than I thought it was. For a while there, I was a little disappointed in the 30.5 cc motor. So long story short, the pipe is phenomenal. And we have an upper shock brace, which I had wanted to do initially. Why I waited, I don't know. It's only a $17 part. Took out the silver brackets that were in here. They're like a cylinder that allows this to stand up a little bit higher and allows for the pigtail pipe to be used. Otherwise this bar would hit it. So when I removed those, the cage sat down lower, allowing the upper shock portion to stand out a little bit more, which I think really looks a little bit beefier. Not to mention, if you have this cage and you have that set up, you'll notice that your side pins that lock through here, they always had to be like kind of jammed down in and then tilted, because this wasn't low enough to where it was sitting right, because of those two cylinders that raise this piece up. So when I took those off, which were a pain, basically they were just on there by friction. When I took them off, what a difference. I like the way the cage sits, it goes on easier. This window mesh, it came from Michael's craft store. You'll see when I show you the inside of the cage how I mounted it. You can even notice there I have a little black wire tie holding that one on. But I decided to put it on the sides, the front, the back, and I thought it looked pretty cool. It gave it a different look, and it also serves a purpose. So you'll notice in the front end I cut the panel. That front panel normally comes a little bit lower. I had an issue with the tire scraping and causing a little rip right there, so I cut it back real far. I wish I could have left it out here and then cut it up this high. I just recently purchased the Chase mud guard, which you'll probably see in there. If you know these trucks, you'll know that should be all open. So if you look in there now, you notice the front end, the whole front portion is protected from dirt, other than this little corner here. But also looks really good because you can't see any of the inner guts, inner workings, you know, the gas tank, servos, and the receiver pack. So, again, that's about it to the body. I just put some stickers on it recently, but nothing crazy. The upper shock brace, the pipe, and now let's take the body off. I'm going to set you guys down for a minute. Show you the inside. Just a quick look, you'll see wire ties, most of which are hidden. This stuff is used for yarn. You can find it in the yarn section in all different colors. I thought it was pretty cool. Got the idea from one of the guys in the Facebook group that I'm on. And again, this is the Chase cage. Which takes a beating, by the way. Alright, so as I said, Dominator pipe fit great, 29 bucks, Dominator style pipe. And the upper shock brace, love it, love the look of it. Seems so much tougher compared to the factory pieces that were there. And you might notice the shock limiters. That's one of the reasons I'm making this video for Zuko 86. He had asked me about shock limiters. One of the first issues I had when if you watch some of my videos, you'll notice I was jumping it. And the jump I was taking off, it was pretty aggressive, you know, scale for scale, it was pretty aggressive. And sure enough, my third time out, I had an issue with the shock coming out, the thread that comes into here, de-threaded itself, came out, allowed the rod to be hanging. This then put pressure on the rod and bent the rod. The upper portion of my wheel then touched that screw there, the head of that. You can see where it burnt it, and left my whole, rig just kind of sitting to the side and hurting. And I could tell from a distance it was a problem. Not to mention it wasn't moving very well. So when I got over there, I realized what happened. I was told that shock limiters or shock straps were definite. They were a must. I figured maybe I wasn't going to have a problem because first couple times out, no problems. But sure enough, I did. Well, I looked into shock straps. MIP makes a set on Dave's Discount Motors for 60 bucks. Wicked expensive, but they look beast. And then you have Fast Eddie or Team Fast Eddie's shock straps, which look real nice too. And he sells them in different sizes because technically you could lower your truck by using them because they'll pull the suspension in. I didn't want to spend the money. I knew I could come up with something. I thought about even using the, as you'll notice over there, I have some weed whacker wire, and I was going to put like the end that you would put on a piece of wire to put over a screw, the little loop, the little eye. I was going to do it on each end, so that technically the truck is already set up for the mounting of these shock straps. I decided not to do that. I went with 45-pound leader wire, which is a fishing wire. I got it from Walmart. I'll show you guys what I bought. This stuff is unbelievable. It won't cut you. It's not as thin as a guitar string, but man, is it strong. And it's like wrapped around up here. It's wound at the top for a good distance. I don't know how close I can get with this camera, but and again, it mounts right into that section there. And the top of leader wire has a loop already built into it. It loops over and then wraps and it winds itself, which gives it the strength. So if you follow it down, you'll see the lower portion mounts right there. Again, has a loop. So it was already like perfect. And I bought 6-inch length, which is perfect. It doesn't allow my suspension to extend at all. And yes, it is tight when it's sitting, but it is not lifting the suspension at all. I shouldn't say at all. If anything, it's lifting it maybe this much, which I'm fine with because again, the shocks definitely have a problem with these trucks. They will unthread themselves at the bottom and pull apart. So there's no possible way that's happening now. And I did it on both sides. It came out great. They're both perfect, 6 inches. So that's what I used. 45-pound leader wire. You can buy in the fishing section at Walmart. And it worked great. And it has a loop at each end. You just unscrew it, put the loop around the screw, drive it back in, and you're good to go. Maybe adjust your shocks to however you like them. You'll notice I put the Integy rear chassis brace on there, which comes with a brake brace and the front brace. The brake brace has 4 screws, so it has a riser here and a riser here. The factory one only has a riser here and not here. It's shaped like this, so there's no screw. There's only a screw at this lower point, which goes into the chassis. But and they don't give you a longer screw. So needless to say, you're going to need a longer screw if you buy this brace. But I like it. The brace looks really tough. It looks strong. It's thick, just like the rest of the ones out there on the market. And again, it's all hooked up with the Integy logo and that type of thing. So again, you can see the cylinder from this angle. you need a longer screw. A good buddy on one of the Facebook groups I'm on, Jose, he's sending me out one from New York. You meet some really good guys in this game, that's for sure. And he's just popped one in the mail, sent it out to me. Should be here in a day or so. Let's see, what else? I recently had an issue with the factory brake. The dowel, this dowel here that runs this way, the little cylinder underneath my finger, that little dowel there on the factory brake came out. And when it came out, I didn't realize it, but what ended up happening was it allowed so much movement of the back pad that somehow the fan, the blade in the center of each rotor disc caused the fan to rip to pieces. I'll show you what it looks like, and it's unbelievable. So I replaced it with a factory fan, but what I did was I stepped up the brake. You'll notice if you look in there, the factory brake block has a grub screw right there that locks that dowel in, and the factory one doesn't. So this upgraded one, HPI sells one, a few other companies do. I got mine from Rovan RC. It's designed the same way as the rest of them, and I just bought another factory blade style cooling fan for the center of each disc. I presume I won't have any more issues, so I'm not worried about the strength of that fan at the moment. And the brake's been fine. I haven't had any issues. I've only run it once since. I haven't ran it since I put the plates in. I want to put the screw in. They went in last weekend. But again, the pipe, absolutely amazing. If you're thinking about doing a pipe and you don't want to do the one that runs down the side, because I know I hear a lot about that one. It's a great pipe. This Dominator style pipe is the way to go. This truck absolutely rips. I'm going to post some videos this coming weekend. I haven't done anything with the fuel lines, haven't done anything with the carburetor, just again making sure my filter's clean and my air filter bag is on. The filter bag or the filter cover for the cover for the pull start has held up okay. You'll notice it only ripped around the edges, and if you watch my previous video, the way I installed this one is I put the screws, I put a little slit where the screws go in, and I put the screws in over it so it holds it real tight. So it's held on there real well. So I haven't had any issues with that. The Killer RC Super B kill switch has been great. Again, I ran my wire down behind the motor, through here, or in front of the motor, down here, all along, underneath the gas tank, clipped there, and then across. And I notched a small notch in the side of the receiver pack or receiver box, put the Killer RC light in, and you'll notice some wire loom coming out here. That there goes to the front lights. And the front Integy plate can be seen now. The Team Chase mudguard, which was 29 bucks. I really didn't want to pay that much for a piece of plastic, but man, it looks good, it's worth it. And with my cage, with the Chase cage, it really just hides all the stuff that you can normally see, and that's, obviously capable of getting super dirty. So I'm hoping it's going to work real well. Came with 2 screws for each side. You just drill the holes, run them through, and you're good to go. Integy plate, easy to install. Again, super thick, tough looking. You can notice where it runs through in the front here. So it's kind of a mixture of orange and orange and silver, which is what I was going for. I also ordered the steering arms from Integy. Got rid of the plastic stuff. I'm digging them so far. All adjustable. They had a couple different colors. I went with black and the orange. Hopefully you can see them better there. I'm still running all the factory steering components, even the servo horn, which I may change at some point, but so far so good. I'm happy with everything. And again, the wire loom runs from here, and I ran another piece of wire loom as soon as I was able to on this side, right up through, follows up underneath, comes up to here, and this is where the 2 connections meet, and I either unplug or plug the lights in, depending on whether or not I want to run them. Eventually I'll put a power switch on them. But right now that's about it. So again, I had an issue with the factory brake, with the dowel pin coming out. Had an issue with the shocks, had to buy a rebuild kit and put in, you know, a whole new lower portion of the shock on, the portion that has the rod, which helped me because I learned how to rebuild shocks at that point. And, you know, if you've never done it, it's definitely something you need to watch a few videos on to get it right. And my shocks are awesome ever since. I've jumped it a ton of times, and it jumps great, lands great. That is about it. I haven't really had any other problems with it. I mean, it's other than it getting faster and faster, and to the point now where I literally have to get used to the amount of power it has since putting that pipe on. So, Integy, front and rear, chassis kit. I didn't mention that it came with the brake piece, the back piece, and this piece for 29 bucks. No, was it 29 bucks? Yeah, or 39 bucks, I'm sorry. So for 40 bucks, which normally if you guys have priced it anywhere else, that same back piece alone costs 40 bucks. So I thought that was a good deal. These here were $22. Super good deal. All aluminum, in my opinion, again, my opinion. Front shocks, haven't had any issues with them. No plastic broken at all. And yeah, that's it. Nothing else broke other than that factory brake and the shock coming apart from hyperextending.